This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So last session, we were doing some Azure DevOps and we're trying to do the release right. So we'll just continue the same thing. I think yesterday we made a Helm chart for Mongo and the front end, if I'm not wrong. Let's take a look and go to the pipelines, releases, the folder in Helm. Okay, not even Mongo. We just did a So we just did a front end release, okay, and we need a catalog release as well. Okay. Cluster is ready already. So the front end part is done. Front end will not work anyhow, so because it doesn't have the all the services out there, so it starts with catalog, and catalog also will fail. Why? Because the catalog doesn't have the MongoDB. Okay, now let's go with the MongoDB. Okay, catalog came, but also that goes on into running. You're getting Mongo network error. So that also going into running, but it's not giving any health check. So why it is not giving health check? Let's go and verify that once. I think it is just doing the health check of the default one. Let's bring the code. So if you look into the describe, so usually what happens is the health check would be failing. Okay, so liveness probe is actually failing. It is hitting on 80 port. It doesn't really hits on 80 port. Okay, so that needs a tuning in the Helm chart actually. That doesn't work on 80 port. So catalog, and if you go to the deployment.yml file, if you look into the liveness probe, so it's actually taking automatically some port 80. Okay, so which is not correct, and which I already giving the values.yml, and in the values.yml I'm already putting the port number, which is 7001, and I just want to use the same port. And how do you access the values? Like if you remember from the basics which we discussed, you go to the deployment, and the container port is actually going to be is container port is actually going to be is this one, and no, it's so it is this, and it's actually going to be dot values dot. Okay, so dot values dot, and so what is that? Service dot port. Okay, so this is the port it is supposed to be using. And liveness, basically it is hitting this one, but actually it has to hit slash health and a slash health, but it actually has to hit a port number. Port is HTTP, no, so port is actually going to be the same port. Okay, so these are the changes which I'm making. Now let me push this and this will run the CI and it will come to the pipeline. Okay, sorry. 2016 it ran once again. Yes, now you go back there. So now let's see, it came to running because the health check is passing and going to the logs. Now still you will get that error. So MongoDB failing, that is okay. MongoDB failing is fine. Okay, because MongoDB is not there. Now we'll set up the MongoDB. Now to set up the MongoDB again, I have to go to the MongoDB and run that. So since it is a MongoDB, what I'm thinking is, so can I use a public Helm chart? Okay, so which is already available on the internet. and I'll just load my schema into that. Okay, so that is one approach. Or we already have an image, we can just use that as well. Anything is okay. Okay, but yeah, so let's give a try on using the public Helm chart. So MongoDB Helm chart, MongoDB Helm chart, MongoDB. Okay, so you can do this. Basically, you can add your repository of so, and this is a third-party repository, by the way. This is actually a stable MongoDB. I think this is fine, no issues. So you can just go and you take this and put it here, Helm repo, add this one, and you added the repositories. And so then I will go for Helm version 3, right, overseas. So I will just say that Helm install MongoDB, and then so the Bitnami chart which we want to use is basically stable is also fine. Oh, this Helm chart is deprecated, sorry. Okay, so stable MongoDB is correct. Yeah, so MongoDB and stable / MongoDB, and it is telling that do a Helm repo update. Yes. But it is telling that MongoDB was not found, and that can be found by adding this particular repository. So how do we add that whole repositories? Let me take you to stable. It's all folders. This is the public Helm chart. Helm / charts is the public repository for this one. So all you need to do is add this repository to the Helm. Okay, and yeah, you get it. So it is nothing but like a M repository. It's like a source to the Helm where the repos are there. Okay, so now Helm is installed. Go for K9s, and I'm thinking like so we already have our own AMI, right? So why don't we use that? Okay, so what is the AMI this guy is actually using is this guy is also using a deployment, okay, by the way. And if I go there, so over here the image, if you look there, so you are using this particular MongoDB, this one, and probably I can use my own AMI also. Okay, our own AMI, sorry, not AMI, Docker image. Okay, we have our own Docker image, right? So let's take a look, up.docker.com. So we are pushing our own image, and we already played this. Basically, it's available here. If we just go to the MongoDB, you have a KX file, .yaml file, and so what is this one is you have this basically. Okay, this is a working copy only. Okay, it's working fine already. And so how do I override that is, so now I can go for Helm space ls. Now Helm space delete, Helm space delete MongoDB. Okay, it's gonna delete the MongoDB. And why I came here. So now I want to override that particular one, right? So I'll go to the stable which I'm using is a MongoDB here. And if I go to MongoDB, so there is a default one, but I want to override that, right? So if I just go for MongoDB, MongoDB. And so if I go to the values.yml file, it is actually using this. And inside here, so it is actually having the repository and the tag. These are the two values it is using. Now I want to override that value. So then how do I override while installing the Helm chart is you can go for -- set the variables, which is a command line variable. And it's actually going to be image.repository and image.repository is equal to this one and the tag basically, and image.tag is equal to -- set image dot tag is equal to 225. Okay, so this is what I wanted to put now. And using this, the Helm chart, everything is consuming public one. And so okay, lines. And this actually we are using is so it is actually trying to do something. Let it come. So Mongo is actually crash back loop popping. So why, if you see the reason, so it's actually having what is this? Okay, so it is actually putting some data mounts and all. Okay, so volume permissions basically enable is something we are getting, and that's a whole different level image. So it's actually using mount points and all these are true and all. So I have to modify so many values. Okay, so for time being, okay, so we'll just go with the old one only, but that's fine. Okay, so if we spend some time, so we can change the things to the need whatever we want. Okay, so I think without this is also fine, but so whatever it is, so here I have something in place. Now I just want to go into and load some I want to load some so schema into this, right? So that's the main thing. So if I just go and give Mongo and I can give show dbs, it's actually not giving anything. So because failed because you don't have the permissions basically. Okay, so this is coming up with some username password. Okay, so that is the reason we're not able to communicate. But how do I get the password? Okay, so what is the password? So env pipe grep -i pass or something like that. So this is a MongoDB password. So Mongo and hyphen help. So what is the username and password? I don't know. So let's take a look. Is there any information it is giving? So Mongo host port this and TLS AWS authentication and hyphen P this one. Okay, so still you're getting permission denied. Hmm. I'm also not sure this error. Yeah, so hyphen U root also I had to give, and now it's actually show, even though that error coming up, it's not giving me. I mean, it's giving me this particular one. So that username and password is there. But if I have a username and password, okay. So if I have a username and password, then the problem is our application our application will not work. Okay, so that's the major problem with the our application. Our application is designed that guy actually without username and password. So that is a problem for us. Okay, so we cannot blindly use this. Okay, that's a problem again. So okay, so we're going to and fro. Basically, let me delete this. Our application is not gonna support this. Okay, which is fine. So what I wanted to do is I just want to deploy the backend components in a quite simple way, not through the Helm chart. So I will just go for MongoDB release, and what I'm actually doing here. Let me take a look. Kubectl apply, and it's actually demo or demo one. I think it's just demo. Okay, so just click on save. Click on OK. So I would just trigger this one. So there's already a Mongo release. I'll just go with this and trigger it. I don't want to go with the complete Helm chart because end of the day it's no use. But the application shouldn't actually contact without username and password. So our developer, whoever it is using it or making it, is not doing in a right way. Okay, so that kind of application will never get approval to get into the production environment. So, but still keep in mind. So we are just running on lab kind of thing, so we have our own limitations here, right? So we don't have a developer to follow up with. So that's where I get something here, which is so Mongo is a replica set. We have written a replica set. It just connects to that. And if I go into the shell of this, and if I go for Mongo and show DBS, so you can see the catalog and users is already there. Okay, fine. So now what I wanted to do is I just want to, so I want to go with service. So this is definitely exposing one service, which is called as MongoDB. Okay, so and the port number is 27017. Now what I want, I have to give the information to this guy, catalog guy. So how do I pass the information? By tuning the Helm chart again. So going to the catalog and tuning the Helm chart once again. So go to the templates and I will say the deployment. So this guy actually needs some information so to be passed, and that information is so EMB, and so either you put a config map or you pass it directly. It's up to you. And so here, what I am preferring to go with is so first thing I want to understand, so what is the variables this requires. So that information I can get it from K08 app. So this guy requires a config map reference, and name is a catalog config, and the catalog config is a config map. So Mongo underscore URL. So this is the value which we need to pass it to there. Okay. So we need to pass it there. So which is going to be is hyphen name is this one, and value is and the value is this one. All right. So, but it's actually a MongoDB only. Go for MongoDB. But sometimes it might be changing. It might change, right? So that it might change. Okay. So that is where. Okay. So we can think of getting the information which is already there. Okay. So we can grab the information which is already there in the cluster, right? So we already talked about this. Okay. So how do you grab that information? We just played it out, but it didn't work out. So why? Because we know that we're just playing with the Helm chart and it's not gonna work is what we talked about. So here, very simple, and nodes.txt, and okay. So yeah, here, where did we kept it? Actually, we commented or we removed that didn't work. There's a kind of thing. Okay. Lookup. This works only when we really run with the really run, but it will not actually, right? So what actually you're looking for? You're looking for a kind of a service, okay? And we're looking kind of a service, and so that particular one is how do you do that? So this is how you do that, right? So you can just do that. So let's refer the documentation. So Helm lookup function, okay? So you already have some lookup function. So some documents, let's open up, like Helm official itself is there here, and go for lookup. So lookup, so API version, kind, namespace, and name. Okay. So here, what I'm looking for is, so basically something like that, right? So probably I can just deal with this here in a way. So it's really not needed. Again, it's your choice, like how you want to get the data. So sometimes dynamically you need to get it. Sometimes you need to you can hard code the things. So since the possibility is there and we're okay with that, I'm just going to go for this. So here is the one. So lookup function and v1, and it's a service, and its namespace is default, and it's actually going to be a MongoDB. Okay, so whatever is the name, you get that. Again, you get the same thing only. You're searching for a name and you get the same name only. Okay, so but if I want, but I quite sure it's not a real use case for our requirement at least, because it can bring in some format, and it can bring in some format, and I'm thinking about how can I dot metadata dot annotations. It's using dot metadata dot annotations, and that's where you're already giving the service name is a such. And I'm thinking like, so what do you really require? You don't really require that way, right? Now what I'm looking for now is so the dot spec dot cluster IP. So let me grab the IP address. Okay, dot spec dot cluster IP. So out of this, so what actually I'm looking for is so let me put this way, and a dot spec dot cluster IP. Okay, it's small c. So this is what we're expecting. All right. Okay, cool. Let's see how it works, and based on that, we'll. So since we push the code, so the CI will run, and CI will trigger the CD as well. Okay, so then it goes with the release now. Already started. Cool. So now it got deployed. Pods. So the new catalog is actually getting created. The old one will go away after the new one comes into picture. Yeah, the old one is going away. The new one came into picture. Okay, so which is fine. Now it is telling that MongoDB also it connected, which is okay. But how it got connected? So let's look into the shell of this and how it grab the variable basically. So env pipe grep -i. Let's search for Mongo. Now you can see this Mongo. What is a variable by the way? Mongo URL. So you are able to pull the IP address of that. Pull the IP address of that particular so service. So now let's go to the SVC and the service IP address is there, which is really not needed. But in a case if you have that scenario, I think in the sample practical part we couldn't able to get that because we're just doing a dry run all the time. So now I'm just trying to show you that. Okay, nothing more than that. Okay, so now let's go for okay, so that is fine, right? So now that means the catalog is working fine. So let's go to the pods and the front end is still not working. So why? Because now it might be failing with the other part now. So now it is telling user service is not there. Okay, so the user is not there. So we'll go and configure the user. All right. And so how do we do that? So user and Redis. Yes, sorry, user and user depends on Redis and Mongo, and Redis we need to create. Mongo is already there, and the other one is a cart. Cart depends on Redis. So first, let's fix the Redis part. So Redis is actually we already have a pipeline. We'll just backend components, right? We have 4 components: Mongo, Redis, MySQL, and RabbitMQ. We'll just pick the same old pipeline and run it. We'll not go with the Helm chart. RabbitMQ. This is done. And the database services, like, so running inside Kubernetes is really also is a scary thing. Okay, so we don't usually do that in real-time scenario. It's always the back. Kubernetes is mostly for serverless, stateless, and most of the compute intensive only. Okay, so we'll not go with our compute products. Basically, we'll not go with the database kind of thing in general. Okay, so that's the reason I'm just ignoring that. So today's, things are maturing, but database we always feel scary. Okay, let's keep it aside. Okay, and that part is getting done. So now I will go for the next one, which is catalog is done, and Mongo. Next one is user, right? So let me go to the terminal, go to user. So helm space create. So create user and nb user to help rename that. Let's go and fix that particular one. What all the things we have there? I think in the template and in the values. So actually we are replacing this with something here, right? So, and Kubernetes is actually taking care, sorry, our CI pipeline is actually taking care of something there. So I will go with values. So the same thing I will use here, the values. Okay, fine. And rest of the things, it's basically is and what is the port number? So the port number is actually going to be the user service, and the user service port number you can get it from the user information itself, or you can go to app.yml file and you can get it 7007. Okay, so 707 is the port number, and 7007. So 7007 is the port number. Ingress is false, which is fine. Resources, nothing need to be modified. Okay, which is okay. Now the next thing is in the deployment, which is okay. And so here also it's basically the same thing, whatever I have mentioned here, right? So here it is. So the port is this. Okay, so the port is this, the port is this. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think apart from that, nothing is needed. So let me, and also Azure pipelines now. Azure pipelines need to be added a little bit more, and that is here, taking off this task. And it requires a PAT, and so the PAT information I will be first go to the pipelines, and this is a user. Just go there, edit pipeline variables, new variable, and it's a PAT. And a PAT yesterday we were trying to store somewhere. This is a one PAT secret. Okay, save. Okay, so now if I push the code, this pipeline will run automatically. The pipelines, and user is already running. So inputs is already defined. Okay, I didn't copy it completely. And also this is actually a cart, right? This is actually a user, and this is also a user. So let me cancel the running one. So let me cancel because the image names and are all wrong. New one. And in the meantime, I'll go with the releases and I will say that, okay, go to the folder, this one, catalog, clone it, this one, user, and this needs to be modified after the pipeline once again. So it has to publish the artifact. And this requires variables. We didn't add the variables again. We missed that particular part. Okay, this part is done. I'll go to the releases now, and I will go to Helm user release. Let me modify this, and here you have underscore Helm. So let me delete this and go and add some Azure artifacts we're using, and so we're going for K06 and universal and Helm user now. Okay, and the default version is latest, and it's actually underscore Helm added. Also, I can go for auto trigger, so that can trigger automatically when there is a change. Okay, so but as I mentioned, if you run it also, it will not work. Okay, let's go and fix the proper image, because user is dependent on certain variables. So now here user is actually dependent on Mongo URL and Redis. Okay, these two things it is dependent on, and I will go here and give that information env. Okay, and I have a name, this one, and value, this one. Okay, so again here name is this one, value is this one. Okay, so value is this one. So since you know the options, I'm not going to do much things here. Let it be that way so that we can do the things. Now there is a push, so CI runs, and after the CI, so deployment also runs. In the meantime, so we can go and configure the cart part. So I can go to cd.r/cart, and so helm space create cart env cart to user directory a, so helm directory. All right, and now let's modify this. Go to the cart, go to the helm, and values.yml. You have values.yml. So what you need to change here? So change these values. Okay. And next thing, the port is quite important. So what is the port value? So port of our cart is, you can check that from here. So it's actually 7000 port. So I would say here, change it to 7000. Nothing need to change here. And I can go to here deployment.yml file. So you need to copy this service port, and the same thing I should be doing here as well. Okay, so this this. Okay, and this is fine. And it also requires an environment variable. It just requires a Redis part, and you can identify that information from here. And Redis and catalog also. Okay, so Redis and catalog both. That's where I can just take this and so name is this, value is this, name is this, value is this. And also it's your choice, like, so if you want to grab it from config map, you want to put it to config map, from there you want to access, it's all up to you. Okay, the base are always up to you. Okay, and when it comes to the Azure pipelines, and here it is, and here it is. Okay, and so it's actually gonna be card and card. Okay, nothing more than that. And before pushing, I will go to the card and I will say edit variables, new variable, and I will say PAT. PAT is pat. This. So this is just for authentication to pull the artifacts, push the artifacts. Okay, this much. All right, let's push this. Now go to the releases, and I think it should be fine. And go to the Helm, user release, user is deployed, and you can go here and check it out. User is actually image pull back off, error pulling the image. And if you look into the describe of that particular one, then what it is telling is, so user actually spelling went wrong. Okay, so that went as a Y, so small mistake. So here it is, where is user? User, Azure DevOps pipeline, it's actually went as a wrong, spelling wrong. Even though this is spelling wrong, we have to run everything. Okay, so we don't really need to do that. In the meantime, also I can go to the deploy and I can just modify that manually. So for just for time being, edit. Anyhow, the pipeline will run and it will figure it out and update it automatically. But until then, just want to check it out. So here, it's not Y, it's U. Okay, 7 quit. Now go to the pods. So the user one more is getting created. That's coming to running. Okay, so and again I did a mistake. Basically, the user here and the health checks, I made it wrong. My bad. It's always /health. Okay, and here also catalog we already made it cart. So slash The user new one is getting created. So the new one came to running as well. Okay, you see this? And fine. And so now the next one which would be coming up here is a cart. For cart, it's not coming because you don't have releases. So go here, go here, go here. This one, just clone it, and you would delete this, and this. You are going to say it as cart and add it. Go to the Azure artifacts and go to the K06 logo shop. Go to universal. Packaging is cart and the version is latest, and it's gonna be automatic trigger as well. So save it. Okay. Create release. Create it. So that comes to user again deploying user. No, 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 no. Actually, we need to modify this. Edit pipeline. Go here and put it as cart, right? And create a release, and user also had to release again. User went wrong. So user just redeploy is fine. Just deploy again because no code change and all. Just so cart is coming up. So looking into the logs, actually it is disconnected, which is fine. Okay, and you do that. And also now I will go with user will be coming up. User is actually getting triggered now. User should come in a proper way. So you see this user hyphen cart earlier. So that's not right. Okay, so now something is done now, at least logs, you look there. So now it is telling user is not there. If I kill this particular pod, so at least now it should say that it is actually failing with some shipping or payment, not with these services at least. Yeah, so shipping and payment is a couple of other things which are pending. So let's go and figure them out and update them as well. So go to the terminal, to the .cd shipping ls, and so helm space create shipping. Okay, so mv shipping to helm. Okay, and what, and let's modify the code. Also let's do the same thing with payment as well. So helm space create payment and mv payment to helm. I'm just putting in a standard structure. Okay, every repository in a standard structure. That's the idea. Okay, so let's go to the shipping one, and in the shipping, so it's actually helm. So a couple of things will get modified. So first is values. Values would be coming from here, and it's all same. So we can put this. And so the next one is the shipping port number. So the shipping port number I see is 7005. I will go and say that it's 7005. Okay, and the chart nothing. So come to the deployment. So here we should be using health, HDH health, and I go to the deployment, so the port number. So let's change that. Everywhere it is same. Okay, it's the port number. Now the next thing is it requires an environment variables. Okay, so what all the environment variables it does require? So if you just come down here, so you will see these dots require two things. Okay, and those two things you can put it here. Okay, so which is fine. And so here hyphen name, so value, and hyphen name value. Okay, MySQLDB. That's it. It's actually MySQLDB. I think so. Yeah. We just deployed the old config, so this one. Okay, this much, and ultimately it leads to Azure pipelines as well. So here, to all these tasks also it's common. We can go for some common tasks and make it. Okay, that's fine. Let it be just this much, and this is actually going to be shipping. This is actually going to be shipping. And before proceeding, I will go with the pipeline and go for shipping. Is a double one. I don't want it. This is already one. Okay, so click on edit, go to the variables, new variable, and the path. Save. All right, now let's push the code of shipping. So that will go on, run the that will go and make the shipping. Go to the release site pipelines, shipping. Oh, payment. Oh, it's payment, comma. Wait, what's happening? Did I made it shipping? Yes. Then why payment is running? Why this shipping is not really running? Okay, payment is updated. That's okay. But shipping, why this is not working? Let's delete this. So new pipeline, and it's actually already there, Azure repos, and it's actually shipping, and it's already there, and the code also didn't push actually. conflict is there. So here resolve, accept yours. It's slow actually. And push the content. Hey, why it's not pushed again? One second. Okay, so let's quickly fix that again. So here it is. and go to system and the port number. And what is the port number we have seen here? 7005. Okay. 7005, and yeah, and I go to deployment. Okay, all right. Yeah, this much. And coming to the Azure pipelines. So variables PAT. Okay, in the meantime, let's go to the releases and just clone these. All right, I've cloned this, and it's actually going to be shipping. And the quite important thing is we should not forget. So here it is, shipping the pipeline. So we just need to delete this. So the timing, this has to publish the artifact at the same time. So we'll make the go there, this one, anything. So clone it. Payment release, save it, and go to here, you see payment. Okay, let's go to the pipeline. Shipping is done. So that means if I go to the releases and if I say, hey, shipping, so go to the shipping and so edit this and add this Azure, and the feed is shop, and so we'll go with the universal, and so the package is shipping, and the version is latest, and this is shipping. Okay, So this much, save it, trigger, release, trigger. Okay, done. Let's go to the pipelines of RabbitMQ. RabbitMQ. No, payment. Helm templates values. So Helm templates values. And the next one is deployment. So here it is a deployment. Okay, it does require environment variables as well. So what are the environment variables it does require from previous configuration? We can check it out. So it does require 3 values, and all those 3 values you have it here. So hyphen name and hyphen name and hyphen name. So you go for value, card, and value and value. Okay, this much. And also I will go with one more thing. So the port number is 7002. Okay, so I will go to the values and I will say my port number is 7002. This much. So the payment, so 2 things are there. So let's cancel the old one. So let's new one run. Okay, the shipping part is done. So go to the releases and shipping release. I can see this is done. So go to the shipping releases. You can see the shipping is fine. And you go back here. So shipping is fine. Okay, so let the payment also come so that our cluster would be ready. Now, once after your cluster is ready, so we're going to follow the strategy now. Okay, so either blue green you want to make it or rolling update you want to make it. Okay, so but that should not cause any kind of interruption into our service. Okay, but how do we ensure that my service is not interrupting, and how do we upgrade it? Okay, so that's the main agenda basically. Okay, and in order to do that, so basically if we talk about some Prometheus, some metrics collection, so that can show some information. Okay, that your service is fine kind of thing. Okay, so yeah, Prometheus not completely gives you, but still, yeah. So Prometheus and log elk, so together we will run on our cluster, and so that we will together we'll run it on our cluster, so that we will be able to so check our application functionality by putting some dummy load onto the server. So that's where we need to start some Prometheus monitoring into the system. Payment will not come, so first pipeline should complete. Okay, so this is fine. I will just go with releases, and I have Helm payment, edit it, add it. This one Azure artifacts, shop. So here payment is not coming. Okay, so because we didn't upload that particular pipeline properly. payment and go to the pipeline, go to the edit variables. Cool. So go to the pipeline. So before Prometheus, I would do like, so today what we have done is we have created one Helm chart. I mean, we're creating Helm charts and we're customizing it. So that's where generally anyone would start. But like, let's say if I want to start from scratch, everything I want to put it on my own, okay, we'll take some dummy thing basically, and we will, I mean, dummy in the sense like dummy service, some service. We'll try to bring it everything from scratch. Okay. So, I mean, we write every line of that particular Helm chart so that whatever the learnings, whatever we have done like until yesterday, so use certain things today, but full-fledged we'll try to use like conditions loops. So let's get some little hands-on. That's what we'll try to do in tomorrow's session. And so that concludes the Helm chart, and then we'll move on to the monitoring and finally the deployment strategy. Okay, so I think this is also fine now, but yeah, release is pending. So go to the releases, go to the here, payment, edit. So payment is coming up. So since the payment is there, so probably a friend end also now comes up without any issues. Yeah. So now go to the service and we go here and take this, put it on the browser. So you're getting artificial this one. So click on register and so raghu.com. Okay, so let's purchase some product. Go to the cart, check out. It need to bring the countries. So it's something wrong. It's not able to bring the countries. So that means my shipping service not able to communicate to the database. Okay, so let's go to the pods and go to the logs of this one. So it's trying. So, but it should not take this much time, and ultimately it fails actually. Okay, so then I will go for okay, so go for shell of shipping and so if I see db underscore host is mysql db, is mysql db there? Okay, so svc, it's actually mysql or mysql db. But first of all, mysql, I'm seeing something wrong, or mysql is not there. MySQL is not there at all. MySQL DB. So card, catalog, Kubernetes, MongoDB, payment, RabbitMQ. MySQL DB itself is not there. 3306. Okay. Why? What happened to MySQL DB? So that's where I go here. And so here, so payment, I can go to MySQL K08 app.yml files. It's a stateful set. And so we're actually supposed to go with MySQL. No, it's a service account. It's a stateful set and it's a service, MySQL DB. It's supposed to be coming up there, but why it didn't came up? What is the reason? Yeah, no, that's also fine. Spelling mistake is everywhere. That's okay. So here instead of stop, actually you have some soup. That's also okay. It's all everywhere the same. That's not a problem. Label selector you have service MySQL DB. So I'm not sure what happened. Let's take a look on the logs of MySQL when it ran. Go to the releases. Release. Go here, install MySQL service. So it's creating the service MySQL created. Is there any namespace applicable? No. Then did I deleted something accidentally or something? I'm not sure. Okay, let's apply once again. There's nothing wrong. So let's hit deploy. So ours is a failure. We'll keep config. So no cluster name with demo one. I'm not sure. Did my MySQL is not there? Go to the pods. Okay, MySQL itself is not there here. All right, that makes sense then. So go to the edit pipeline and releases. So it's actually demo. This one. Okay. So let's create a new release. I modified it. I didn't run it seems. Yeah, it is showing 1709, 1809. Yeah, now MySQL is creating. Okay, let's go to the robot shop again. Let's start from cart, click on checkout. I just kill the pod, let the new pod come up. Yeah, so go to the cart once again, go to the cart, click on checkout. Let's see the error. So shipping, right? So let's take a look on the shipping side. In the meantime, is there, like last time it worked fine? So that means some variables are missing or something is there. So this one, so here it has only two variables, but it has MySQL username and password, right? So this MySQL username and password also should be there, and so which we missed to create it. Okay. So and so my application requires this particular username and password also. So that's where I need to create this manually for now. Why? Because it's a secret, right? I cannot keep it inside my help chart. Okay. So vim secret data yml. So this is my MySQL username and password, and the kubectl apply -f secret.yml. Okay, and the kubectl. It's okay. So secret kubectl get space secrets. All right, and that my application is referring, so that means I should be going to my chart deployment. So basically I'm expecting a couple of variables, and those variables are MySQL app user and MySQL this one. Okay, so which you can just give it from this one directly. Go here, shipping. So which is an env from, these are the secret credentials. So that starts CI and CD completely. So new release is already started. Okay, so that means the shipping is a new one came in, right? Right, so let's hit it once again. Go to the cart and click on checkout. So it should bring the list of countries. If it is not bringing, what could be the reason? The reason could be my MySQL is really not having the username and passwords. Okay, so this is something still wrong with the MySQL, and that's where I'll go for logs. Okay, and what is the my pass at the rate 1? So cities is there, is fine. And as we see, this is actually telling it is MySQL DB. Yeah, which is fine. And DB host is also DB. So MySQL DB underscore host is also equal to MySQL DB only, correct only. Then why the problem is coming? Okay, so let's take a look once by going with so cat secret.yml file. So echo this one pipe base 64 hyphen decode. It's shipping, right? And the password is secret. Shipping and secret. Password is secret. Okay, it's correct only. So now I'll go for K9s, and I will try to authenticate into the database now. So with the username of shipping and MySQL-u shipping-p secret. I'm able to log in, show databases. What are the databases I have access? It should be showing cities. Yeah, it's fine. So database side, I don't see any issue. Apart from that, my application using the details properly, not properly. Okay. So one last time, I will try. Otherwise, we'll take a look in tomorrow's session. So go to the cart and check out. It's not coming. I need to check the application, basically how it's application. Also, what can I check? This is fine. So MySQL DB cart colon 7000. So Helm templates deployment cart endpoint is also there. MySQL DB secret key reference is there. Okay, first of all, I want to check it out. So shipping. That MySQL username password secret came, shipping came, all came. I don't see any problem. So let's try to debug tomorrow. Okay, we're almost time up again. So we will continue in tomorrow's session and we'll proceed there from there. Okay, and we'll proceed to the Helm chart creation. Okay, right from the scratch, like different options, whatever we can use and things like that. we can take one single service right from anything from the internet, and we'll just try to build up the Helm chart for that. Okay, so how does it work? Okay, that's all from my side for today. Any questions?
Hi Raghu, how far we are completed?
We're almost there. So once we're done with the Helm chart, like Prometheus is the topic pending, and so like what all the things you have seen until there, so you can just play around with your application, ensuring all the things whatever we have done. So we need to just check that so the things are proper by putting some dummy load on the application, and we can see monitoring, log collection, and everything. So probably we get some satisfaction out of that, right? So yeah, we did something, this and all, it's working, right, kind of thing. Yeah, so that's the idea. So mostly next Friday is the last day, definitely last day. Before to that we might be able to, but yeah, put it like next Friday, 5 more sessions, 6 more sessions.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, all right, so see you in tomorrow's session. Bye, good day, good night.